Wow, we've got to find 160k or it's game over.
So welcome back to Every Trade Behind the Build. Hope you had a good weekend, guys, and I hope your week is going well and you're making stacks of dough. I'm on my way to Liverpool. It's not actually that far. It takes about 40 minutes door to door from Manchester to Liverpool, which is amazing really, because we can operate in two cities with pretty much the same team. So yeah, I hope you had a good week. Hope you enjoyed last weekend's episode where I talked about the new HQ for Every Trade. I'm excited by it. I think I was looking at the comments, a lot of you guys really appreciate people that try and push themselves, and as I've said, me and Alex are mountain climbers, and what I mean by that is we always like to push ourselves in life and in business, not that we're actually proper mountain climbers. Somebody asked that in the comments. So that's how I get up in the morning, the thought of going to work and building something that is bigger than us, that creates jobs, that creates opportunities, and that's what keeps me going. Because I remember saying in one of the early episodes, when I turned 40, I know it's hard to believe I'm 40, but when I turned 40 a couple of years ago, I had this I'd come off the back of a tough time. You know, I'd pushed myself, bought my house, turned it into my dream house, and it really saw me off, to be honest. I reckon I was pretty close to a breakdown. And I'm a strong person. I've been through some things in my life, especially my early days and my early life when I was a kid, that have made me resilient. But that was tough. I nearly lost everything. And I turned 40 and this light bulb moment happened where I said, my simple test for anything in life now is, if I enjoy it, I'm going to do more of it. And if I don't, I'm going to do less of it. And I've kind of stuck by that. And I enjoy doing YouTube, so I try and do more of it. There's other things that I don't like. I don't like surveying jobs anymore. I used to survey all our jobs, so I do less of it. And pretty much the simplicity of that has been pretty powerful for me. There was a couple of people saying, someone called me a dreamer in the comments, and I actually went back. I don't normally respond to that kind of comment because I think it was a bit of a dig, because he was saying that there's loads of garages out there and auto repair places out there, and I actually went back to him and said, is that a dig or a compliment? Because I am a dreamer. That's the reason why I've got anything, because I've always, ever since I've been a kid, I used to be a real big daydreamer. In school, when I used to do my paper rounds, and I'd always visualise what I wanted to build. You know, and by and large, I've done quite a lot of that already. I think I've told the story where I used to do my paper rounds, and I delivered papers to my house where I live now, and I always wanted to live on that road, and now I do. So, yeah, I'm a dreamer, so I'll take it as a compliment. I think he went back and said, you know, it's very saturated, etc. There's, 10 a penny. And I thought about it, yeah, when I started a building company, there was loads and loads of building companies. Every other vehicle on the road pretty much is a man in a van doing trades and building and stuff. So that doesn't bother me. There's always opportunities to do things better and make refinements. I think loads of industries are there to be disrupted. So that doesn't worry me either. I need to be careful here because you get accused of being a middle lane driver. One of my pals that watches, He's the highways guy. He says, "Oh, Chris, you are a middle lane driver, so I need to get over." Oh, this is the main man Alex ringing me now. So back in a minute. Yes, lad.
Heading over, lad, yeah?
Yeah, lad. Yes, just off the phone from Mr. Riddick. The reason we're in Liverpool is because we're actually buying another property and we're refinancing one of our other ones onto a longer term product so we can pay off all our bridging loans and anybody we owe and go again, and that's our model. Someone actually said in the comments, and I try not to get too triggered by the comments, I said, it's a real turn off you talking about your wealth, something like that. I don't want to turn anybody on. There's only one person in this world I want to turn on. And I don't think I turn that person on that much. But I don't believe that we ever go on about wealth as if we are wealthy. I don't feel wealthy, and I don't think Alex feels wealthy. All our wealth is tied up in bricks and mortar because that's the model we've chosen. The property is Alex's baby. He loves property. I'm more about starting businesses, growing businesses, being involved with the running the businesses. But that's why we work so well together, because the profit we make from those businesses gets diverted into property. I mean, yeah, I don't know what I said or what I did to give that person the impression of wealth. Yeah, I like driving nice cars and I like having a half decent watch and things like that, but I'm not doing that to gloat. I do that because it's the council estate kid in me that had really rubbish trainers, and I could go on about that. But yeah, I get that because it's a game. You know, I get the car because I don't care. I don't show off to anyone. It's just a game. And to me, that when you get a nice car or you buy something nice or you can treat your friends and family, it's another little sort of uptick on the metric of you're doing all right. But I certainly don't do it to try and show off. I know Alex is the same. There's loads we don't talk about because we don't really want people to know, you know, how successful or unsuccessful we've been. But at the same time, we like inspiring people, and the reason why we put all this out there is because we want to inspire people and say, look, kids like us who are from underprivileged backgrounds and stuff can, you know, do well in the job, start a business, whatever, and build something. Yeah, we've been in the trenches, trust me. And you know what? We might end up back in the trenches, but that's just who we are. So yeah, we're coming to Liverpool, sign for some property, going to try and catch up with Mr. Riddick, get him on camera. Can't remember if I said it or not, but Hollywood's off this week, so it is yours truly who is shooting and editing this episode. I'm so busy, I don't know when I'm going to get the time to do it, but if you're watching now, it means I've actually managed to get it out. So yeah, let's have a big week. You're on that, lad. Yes, so we're in Liverpool now, just before our appointment, and Mr. Riddick is trying to sign something off from Preferred. Let me try and turn this round.
This is proper, like, backstreet deals, this,
isn't it? That's how we're doing it. That's how we roll, the old school. So yeah, this is the wrap for Preferred Joinery for one of the Lutons, and it's getting wrapped tomorrow and Friday. So we're trying to sign off, but we're worried that seems a bit too gold, so we're trying to compare it to the proof there. I don't know, you know, it's not a bad match for that. I just think if that was matte, it'd be better.
I don't think it's the same colour. I think that's a better colour.
Why can't we just get them to lift the RAL number off that?
No, that's a better colour than that.
Yeah, definitely. But that is matte to me.
You want to take a photo of that on your phone like that now?
Yeah, do that.
And then
Yeah.
send it to
Yeah, it's hard doing both. I'm trying to be videographer and you want me to take a picture here. Yeah. Right.
I think that's better.
Yeah, so.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think that colour's what we want it to be. That's
Yeah.
it looks a bit dirty.
But again, I think that should be a matte. We need to try. He doesn't like matte though, does he?
That looks matte on that photo.
It does, exactly. So what do you think anyway, though, of the design? So obviously...
I think it's good, and it's a good selling point for the company.
Yeah, it does. It's like, 'cause that's like a walking advert, isn't it? Yeah. We've got the one for the Every Trade one, which we're going to do eventually at some point as well. So yeah, Alex, we're going to go and sign for these bits and pieces. So this is what... We're buying a new one, aren't we? This is what he said anyway.
Buying a new one.
Yeah.
And we're refinancing one as well. So 65 Adelaide, which you've seen, which is the one that's basically finished. Tenants are moving in on 1st of July. That's going through refinance, so signing for that now. And then there's a new one going through on Connaught Road. Nice big corner one, belter. So signing for that today. So we should get... We're going to schedule the completion for that.
Yeah.
The 1st of July.
When the tenancy ends, so we can get straight in it.
Yeah, because it's got tenants in now. Yeah. They'll leave, let them deal with getting them out and deposits and all that, and then we'll just get the keys.
If I put you on the spot now, do you reckon you could list every single property we own?
I have to do it in order of
yeah,
buying them.
I can't, yeah.
I have to go from the very beginning and then go through them all, yeah.
It's bad, because I was just saying before on the way up, like, it's definitely more your baby than my baby. Would you say property is your passion? If you had to do one thing, or is it just because you can see what can be?
If I had to do one thing, I'd do property, because it's a little bit more...
I just find it slow and frustrating.
It is slow and frustrating, like... But...
Especially this sort of stuff now, where we're going to deal with solicitors and the conveyancing side. To be fair, our solicitor's good. Although once she was really selfish and got pregnant and Alex was fuming.
Because the property is so slow, but at the same time, with it being slow, that gives you that security whereby if things go sideways, it'll take a long time to come into fruition, so, and it gives you time to manoeuvre. Whereas in business, something goes wrong, you
just deal with it.
Yeah,
I know it is, but no, it needs disrupting that industry, the conveyancing thing. It should be, you can just buy like that.
And I think if that does happen, that's when the prices will be more fluctuating.
Yeah, it's true that.
Like
yeah.
Bitcoin, won't it?
You are joking. You are. God, this we're filming now. Are you joking? Yeah, is this stuff? How much does this cost? Oh, yeah.
Go on.
Give us your phone. Go on. Nice day as well, isn't it?
You know, yeah.
Do you want to do it? Do you want me to do it? What phone have you got?
Oh, don't. It's the worst thing ever.
Yeah, video. Here we go. Here we go. What's it called? John?
Hold it, don't you?
Yeah.
Just press record. Is that recording now?
Here we go.
Yes, John! Just with your missus there now for a little bit of breakfast. She's taking us out. Apparently, who do you prefer, me or Alex?
I'm well the best, aren't I?
Yeah. We were just literally doing a bit of filming there now, and look at this now. You're actually going to be in the episode here now, and your missus came over and started chatting us up. Thanks for watching, mate. You're going to watch on Sunday because this will be on Sunday.
Oh, mate,
Oh
yeah.
Check that. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. There you go. It's me.
Boss that, isn't it?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. No worries. Oh yeah, can my camera back?
Get the camera back.
Thanks, Dad.
It's 48.
Yeah, I promise that was not set up, but that is just
Funny
mad. That is mad. Crazy. Right, we better get into this appointment now then, lad. Meeting with Alex done. Really, I should spend more time in Liverpool. It's a great city. I absolutely love it. I feel like it is my second home. I also absolutely love the Beatles. I can't remember mentioned, but I've got a John Lennon tattoo there, which is a bit pathetic, but it means something to me. You know what? Random people beep at me now and wave, and I think, do I know them? But maybe it's actually because of YouTube. And you know what? Going back to the wealth thing, what is wealth? Wealth for me is my family's health and giving my friends and my family and people that I really care about their giving them opportunity. I'm not going to for this is the dig. Let's have a listen. Hi, mate.
I told him straight away, mate, but Willis has just gone out with Rick, drop a wagon off, and as soon as the back, Kirsten gets to ring me, and he'll let me know where they're up to.
Okay, sound. Just let me know so I can, go from there.
Yeah, will do, mate. Yeah, just what you're thinking. I rang straight away.
Yeah, no, it's fine, mate. Yeah, I need to let me know, yeah. Just give me a bell when you know what's what so we can plan.
Yeah, will do, mate, yeah.
Alright, mate. Top man, see you in a bit.
I'll see you about
Bye. Yeah, what that is there, told you this would be raw, is the 8x4 grab has been off the road for a while. We put it in for a pre-MOT check with the local fitter we use, because obviously Dale can do so much, but we haven't got ramps and we haven't got stuff that can test the HGVs, and it flagged up a few things, and it's been off the road for 3 weeks, and it really makes me realise how much we miss it. So I've just been trying to get a bit of momentum into that. Why does the DJI do that? What was it down? Lovely day, by the way. So yeah, no, it's too high. Flipping heck, it's hard. So yeah, let's get back to Manchester. real-time updates. Love that. Back at HQ. That was a good visit to Liverpool there. Got quite a lot of... Kieran, grow up. Got quite a lot of work done. I don't know what this episode is going to be like. It's going to be gorilla. Absolute no. I reckon we're going to lose some subscribers here. But we're nearly at 22,000, so come on, click subscribe. Got a call on the way back from Liverpool there from a customer. And it's funny, actually. It's one we're doing a bit of work for. He uses us every now and again. And you know what? I think uses us is the operative word. Now, I'm on good terms with him. So if he ever sees, stop laughing. This is nonsense, this. No, I can't start again. I'm carrying on. This is real action, this. So this customer uses, and I have a joke with him. He's okay. And if he watches this, he'll get it. Because he's not that bad and we joke about it. But I call it dangling the carrot, where you do work for people and they sell you the dreams, and there's loads more work where that comes from. Just do a good job and deliver this, and look after us on price. There's a load more work where that came from. And I call it dangling the carrot. But you got to be reminded, there's actually other customers out there that use that all the time that don't follow through. So that customer, he does deliver more work. But there's customers out there that manipulate us, and I hate being manipulated, where they say, if you do us a good price and you do this cheap, there's loads more work. Also, my friend wants an extension, or my mate's cousin's family's sister's friend wants an extension. So yeah, I hate being manipulated, and yeah, I just think it's a really low form of manipulation. If you've actually got something tangible to offer, then fine. But I reckon that happens to so many of yous out there, where people try and sell you the dream and dangle that carrot of bigger works and repeat custom, and it never actually happens. Remember, a customer isn't a customer until they put money in your bank. That is when they become a customer. But yeah, I hate being manipulated. A few of you mentioned in the comments last week, what will Dale's role be in this new auto business? Well, really, I did touch on it, but Dale's role won't really change. He's the master of everything for us, isn't he? The human Swiss Army knife. We need him looking after our fleet, obviously. We need him on site doing repairs. What we've got in Dale is someone that is very good at a lot of stuff. What I want over in the new HQ with the auto side are specialists, people that are dedicated mechanics, maybe someone that's dedicated just doing plant. They will be based in-house there. So Dale's role is secure, he's going nowhere. He's the person that gave us the idea to do this, but we want people that are specialists in certain areas doing what they do best there, exactly where we can see them, so we can consistently plan for what we're bringing into that workshop. At the moment with Dale, very hard to plan, because he'll get a call on a Monday morning, he's got to be somewhere, then he'll be somewhere else. But at the moment, he's in our yard because our 14-ton 𝗕𝗨 has got an issue. Apparently it was overheating. Don't know if it's because of the hot weather or whatever, but Dale thinks it needs a water pump, I think it is. So he has now got that in the yard, under the tent, I believe, and you're going to try and sort that. So let's fly over to the yard and see how the human Swiss Army knife gets on.
Morning guys, so my first job today, come in nice and early, so then we're not got any downtime on the digger, but I've got to do a water pump on our 14-ton excavator. Don't know how easy this is going to be, as I've never done it before. It looks a bit of a pain in the arse, but we will see. So in here, right down here, you'll see this shaft here that goes to the fan, and this pulley here, I don't know if you can see there, is what is attached here to the water pump housing, which is down here, where the pipe comes off it there. There. So I've got to basically get this cover off with these bolts, get that fan off the end of the pulley, which has got 4 bolts, get this thermostat housing off, so remove a few of these pipes, and then unbolt the water pump, take the belt off, and then I'll be able to just take that off and fit it with the new one. See how we get on. Hopefully it won't take us too long. Seems a bit of a pain in terms of, you know, there's not a lot of room, but let's give it a go.
What are you up to there?
I'm just checking emails over there, mate.
Nice one.
Yeah, it's been a
Too
busy,
much this weekend or
busy day.
anything?
Something was in my head.
What's that? Oh, didn't even know I had. Oh, half marathon.
You do a half
This
marathon?
weekend,
Oh,
yeah.
that was this
What do you
weekend.
do?
You were talking about it
Everyone.
quite a lot.
Yeah.
No, this weekend. No, I didn't. It was pretty chilled for me.
Yeah.
But
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah.
Was it
Put that away?
just a half you did?
Yeah, a half, yeah.
All right. Was it not a full? Because,
What's that?
you know, I've got...
Huh?
I did a full marathon.
What's that made of?
That's
Sheep, innit? When was that then?
No, get yours back out. This is actually twice the size as well, I think, because twice the distance.
Nah, I can't see it, mate.
Did you not fancy it?
Looks bigger.
Did you not fancy the other
That's bigger.
21k now? Not fancy it?
Couldn't be bothered.
Yeah, just
I think that's pointless.
yeah, just let us know, mate, when you're
Tacky that.
you know when
You
you
get a sauna?
a sauna. I did it after my marathon. Yeah,
I don't. What's a sauna?
yeah. I went up. I did ice bath and sauna.
Sausage on the brain.
So I'm with the human Swiss Army knife, the guys that you all love in the comments saying he should be getting a pay rise, but he's actually let us down. Why?
Well, I'm not let you down.
So we're talking about the digger, on the digger, yeah? So the reason that montage may have abruptly ended was because...
I found a hairline crack
Yeah.
in the thermostat housing.
Okay,
Might be different language to you, but
it is.
basically it's what allows the
Is it gonna
water
cost
to go
me money or
through.
make me
It'll
money?
probably cost you more money.
Great.
But it's been overheating every now and then, so it's clearly just been losing pressure in the water.
Yeah.
And it just needed topping the water up. So we found this hairline crack.
Yeah.
So I've actually replaced the water pump because you have to do trial.
So that needed doing anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then noticed that as well.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So have you ordered that part in?
Yeah, it's like a 2-day lead time though. So
Right, so today's Thursday. You're in tomorrow, but it's Bank Holiday Monday.
Yeah.
Oh, you're off Tuesday?
yeah, but
Are you off
Back
Tuesday? Yeah.
back in.
That's how you get pay rises, you
Yeah,
see.
that's it.
No, good, because we've got a crusher booked on hire for Tuesday, as you can see in the yard. We've got so much we need to crush, so yeah, it's pretty important that we get that back operational,
Yeah.
or at least working.
Yeah.
Like a workaround.
Well, what I'm going to do today, you can get some chemical metal.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to try and just do a
Yeah.
temporary fix on it, so we can at least
Yeah.
use it up until the parts come.
Yeah, yeah.
It gets us out.
Well, whilst I've got you, look at these here. Been busy at the auction again. Absolute piles of poo that I bought. But I bought
We've
that.
got one of these already, haven't we?
Yeah, but that's why I bought that one, because
got
the
the charger.
You couldn't get the charger
Yeah,
anywhere.
yeah, yeah.
So even if the charger works on the other one, that'll work.
Yeah.
But this here, which is held together with insulation tape, is a paint sprayer, but it doesn't look great. But can we have a play with it when you get back?
Yeah.
And see if we can get it working, because I want to use that to spray the new HQ.
Yeah, decent.
You're finishing, aren't you?
Yeah. Go
Why?
Go and get my hair permed.
He's going to get a perm. It's the human Swiss Army knife. Well, actually, my son had not told you this. He said, "Daddy, I want to be like that boy in your office, the engineer." I was thinking, engineer? He went, the blonde one. The one that talks like that. Dale. So, yeah, he wants a perm like you.
Yeah.
Nice one for that. Whereas I thought it was natural.
Yeah. Everyone does.
Is it going at the back there?
Yeah. Literally, it's all straight. So
How much is that going to cost you?
I think it's about 50 quid.
Jesus, are you thinking he's a pay rise?
It lasts though.
50 quid on your hair.
You have to grow
He
it
does
out,
actually,
so.
yeah. I remember the first time he told me he was going for a perm. So at least finish early today, I'm going for a perm. Sam,
Yeah,
see you Tuesday.
sound. See you later, mate.
So, I have no idea what this episode is going to be like. Probably the most random episode, and I'm really sorry in advance. It's it's a bit of all sorts. It's quite a bit behind the scenes, not as much action as you'd probably normally like. But normal service should be resumed next week because Hollywood is back, or is back at least for half the week. So, new HQ, TB has been dispatched over there to go and measure up and do a full technical survey of it so we can get it back here, plot it out, and then see what we can do with the space. It'll be fully to scale, and it's good that we've got that option to do that. I just also had this delivered here. £1.40 I paid for this. This book is a book that I used to read at my nana's every single day. What a lot of you guys don't know about me is I'm a real history nerd. And this book basically lists every news event from the 20th century, and it's brilliant. I used to sit at my nana's when I was probably 7, 8, when I was going through some probably tough times with my mum and dad getting divorced and other bits and pieces. And I used to just get lost in this book, and I'm actually pretty good on history, and it's good because my kids are now also into history, so I've purchased this. I've actually got another one there that the camera's sat on, one for each of my daughters, and when my son's older, I'll get him a copy, because to understand the future, you've got to respect the past. Anyway, over to the biggest geek at every trade, T-Burn West.
So, Chris has got me down to the new offices, HQ, tool station, parts place, I don't know what else. I'm trying to get him to get a footy pitch in the back / bar area. So when I'm doing the design meeting, I will be bringing that up. But yeah, here basically to do the full technical measure of the existing unit, downstairs and upstairs, and then basically get back to the office and plot on with Chris and talk through like basically what we want to do with the place. So let's get cracking. Okay, all done. That took me, I think, just over 2 hours, which is a bit longer than it usually takes to do a 2 up, 2 down terrace. I think I prefer that little single story rare, the Bernie special, call it in the office. But yeah, back to old HQ to plot up new HQ and then do the design meeting with CS today, hopefully. Let's get on it.
We're flying. Jeez. Anyway, there it is, TB doing that. So tomorrow we'll plot that out and then build that up, and maybe you guys can give us some input. We're just doing a bit of an early accounts meeting. Oof, that's a tasty amount, isn't it? Yeah, so yeah, never a good bit of reading that when you're looking what you're hoping for. If you don't pay suppliers, then you haven't got a business. Back tomorrow. So good morning, it's 6:36. As I mentioned, Hollywood is obviously on his holiday this week. Selfish. But it's a bit more intimate, this, because I've got to try and find time to make the content and obviously do what I do. So I get up at this time most days either to go for a little stroll, which I have actually taken you along for before, or I try and do a little bit of work just before the day really kicks in. My problem is I get too distracted in the office in the daytime or wherever I am, so I don't actually get loads done. The actual bigger picture tasks that make the business go forward. So I like to grab an hour in the morning or at night to get things done. I also need to drink a lot of tea. Do any of you suffer from hay fever? I didn't get it, weirdly, until I was 25 when I first found out I was going to be a dad, and actually when I set this business up, I first got hay fever, and I was like, oh, it absolutely crippled me for about 2 years. I didn't take a single tablet, but yeah, now I get them jabs right up the bum, but they make a bit of a difference. But it's bad today, and I can't sleep, and my voice is really hoarse as well. It's actually a bit of a killer. Does anybody read the Rich List? So I've been buying the Rich List since I was 11. It always comes out early sort of April. It's actually late this year, it's May, but it normally comes out sort of, yeah, it comes out in April sometime. And basically it's just a compilation of the top 1,000 richest people in the UK. And rather than be jealous of them, I have been and always will be inspired by anyone on this list. And it's so interesting to see what their stories were and how they did it. So let's have a look on this page here, for example. Peter Harris and family, caravan park owner. So this person is worth 1.791 billion, which is ridiculous. Seems so far out of reach. And yet they've made money just from being caravan park owners. It's ridiculous. You know what's interesting about the Rich List, right? How many people make money just from doing really normal, mundane stuff? Really, house builder, Charles Gallagher and family, 903 million. There's a lot of construction, you know. But I don't think it's construction like I do, where they just go and build someone's extensions. But there's people that are house builders on a big scale, because this country needs houses. And the way I see it is, basically, there's not enough houses for people, so it'll always be a solid industry. And then if the tradesmen, of which there are becoming less and less each year, are busy building houses, then there'll always be that sort of home improver builder, tradesman, people that build extensions, fit bathrooms, kitchens, etc. They'll get their work. So I think we're in a pretty solid industry, and I think for as long as there's not enough houses for people, there'll always be a business for us. Bookies, they make a lot of money. Landlords, they make a lot of money. But I just love it. I love reading it every single year, and I'll pick away at this now until it'll probably take me till the summer to finish. But I'll literally read every single entry. What I used to do when I was super nerdy was tick them off, but I don't do it now. Now I just pick it up a random page. But yeah, I just love being inspired, and I love seeing people do well. I don't do jealousy, I do inspiration. I like seeing what I could potentially achieve. Anyway, I'm going to sit down at my desk for a little bit. This is probably boring, sorry, but Hollywood's not here, so won't be many drone shots in this episode. But yeah, I'm going to crack on and get to the office quite early and have a busy day. But I already know that KTM is already on his way to the office, because that kid is a proper grafter. At my desk, love this place. I tell you what, this desk could tell some stories. There's been many a night till 2, 3, 4 in the morning. Actually, probably all nights where I didn't actually get any sleep, getting tenders in. I was the estimator, the marketing manager, the accountant. I have been everything in this business, and I get it to a point where I take somebody on who is better than me, and I'm proud to have done every single role. In the early days, actually, I didn't have a desk. All I had was a dream, a sofa, and a battered old laptop. I didn't have a posh computer or anything like that. And yeah, it's crazy looking back, and it's nice to be able to reflect with you guys who maybe are at the start of your journey. And I know that a lot of you are, because you tell me. I'm surrounded by some inspirational people. I don't often dip into politics, right? But I'm reading on the news, what is Kier Starmer up to with this fishery thing, right? Again, really quick, uneducated take from a lowly builder. But our fisheries, I see that like my tradesman, our company, right? We've got some of the best fisheries in the world, full of quality fish that people want to pay a lot of money for. Yet we let other countries like Spain and France get equal access to them. And I thought the idea of Brexit was that we were going to take the power away from the EU and control our own destiny, our own waters, I actually voted to remain, and my wife voted to leave. But when the vote came in and Brexit won, I thought, right, I'm just going to accept it, and it is what it is. I don't really care what goes on at Westminster. It doesn't really affect how I go about my day-to-day business, and it's a bad system, but it's the best of a bad system. So I just embraced it and thought, right, whatever, went along with it. And I thought we were getting back control of our waters. It's crazy, really. It's like I've got my tradesmen here at every trade, and I'll let other building companies get equal access to my tradesmen. The tradesmen that I've developed, I find work for, I pay. Yet they get equal access. And I thought Brexit was dealing with that with fisheries. But a deal that's been done this week, again, I am not an expert, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that we're basically going to wind back what we voted for in Brexit a little bit. Whether you like it or not, you've got to respect democracy and the will of the people of this country. And the majority of people that could be bothered to voted Brexit. So, got to embrace it. I don't get too involved with politics because I think basically it is a bad system, but it's the best of a bad system. We live in this country and we're very lucky to have an NHS and, a sort of a prosperous society, and, maybe one that is in decline. And it is sad because it is unfashionable to be patriotic, like I said, unless you support your national football team. Football's kind of the only place you can be patriotic these days, isn't it? But yeah, I don't want to get involved with politics because I'll probably get slated in the comment. But, Kier, what you do with our fisheries, they're ours, right? So don't roll back Brexit. And the majority rules, we voted. We need to get on with it. Anyway, back in my real world, in the world of every trade, Alex, who we saw yesterday, he did a little walk around Project Woodlands. Now, we've actually got a couple of Project Woodlands. This is the one that we bought in auction, you might remember. We've been adding a few properties, not as much as we used to because there's not a lot of value in the market at the moment, but when a good property comes up, we go for it. And we had to buy this one because we own that full corner. It's a really prominent corner if you know Liverpool. We've got a shop there, we've got a HMO above it, which is a strategy we love. And then we've got now a house connected to it, so it's a brilliant corner of that part of town. So yeah, we haven't been there, to be honest. It's a light refurb. We didn't think it was that exciting, but we have been plodding on and working on that in the background. So yeah, let's go and have a little look at the new Project Woodlands.
So yeah, you can see now the full building in shot. Emperor's badge right up the wall. A little bit done my head in a little bit about that, to be fair, because of the detailed brick that you can see, the little pattern, because that sticks out by like 50 mil. We've had to get the sign to be out just a little bit more, like 55 mil. But when it's sunny like it is today, it gives you like a little shadow behind it, which is a little bit annoying for me. Ideally, it would have been better if it was fully flat, but it is what it is. But yeah, so now we have got that full corner. So you've seen us buy this on the auction, which was the little last bit. So we bought the full building there, done the work that we've done, which is top floors a 4-bed HMO. Middle floor used to be an office, converted that into a 3-bedroom flat. The downstairs shop now used to be right the way across the ground floor. We've isolated that so it's a self-contained commercial unit. Obviously that's now rented out to Clever Hands, nice little arts and craft business. Have a look at their stuff, it's really good. A lovely woman who runs it as well. And then now the back end of the building, which you can see it steps down, we acquired that in the auction, which put this full little jigsaw all together as one. So now we've converted that, which used to be a commercial building, into a little 2-bed muse house. So it's nearly done. The work in there was quite easy, cosmetic, which I'll show you in a second. But Alex is just inside now, our plumber, getting the last little bits done, and then a little clean down, get the carpets fitted, a little bit of snagging to do, and then we're done. Let's get the tenants in. But yeah, look at that building now, it's amazing. I'm going to show you a little clip now of what this building was like. I think it was like 80 years ago, 60 years ago now, I think, can't remember. And where that Empress badge is, there was a badge to do with a political party. But now we've got the best political party in the city on there, which is Emperor. Ready to roll in now, Amy. So go in now, see Al, and show you inside, because you haven't seen this yet. So if you can remember this job, so you've got the door in the middle which leads you up to that middle floor flat, which is now the 3-bed flat. You've got this door here which goes to the courtyard at the back, and you go up the stairs to the top floor 4-bed HMO, so it's 1B. So you've got number 1, we've got 1A which sits in the middle, which is the new one that we're finishing off, and then 1B, which is the top floor, which completes this whole jigsaw here, which is decent. This has been a long process, to be fair, start to finish. I think at the start, if you would have said this is what we were going to do, I probably would have looked at it on paper and gone, doesn't really work. But given the other jobs that we've got on, and the fact that this has just really been at the sideline, like we haven't even had much labour on here because we're so busy on the HMO stuff for the customers and our own other stuff up there, trying to get them done for a deadline. Jobs like this, it's just been sitting here really. And to be fair, when we bought this, it should have only took 4 weeks to do the job. We're still here now, we're nearly finished now, to be fair. But as I say, it's just sitting there, going through the process, and because we're so busy, it's hard to try and put a lot of energy into getting this over the line, which, as I say, if there was nothing else going on, we'd have done this in 4 weeks, start to finish, 10 and 10, because it's quite an easy process. But actually it's been sitting here. We've had to get planning now, which is still ongoing, which is to change the use from commercial to residential, which is an easy process. There's one application, not too difficult. We're doing under PD rules. It's class MA, it's a C3. So we get inside now. I've actually got a little DJI video of this because we didn't see this with Niall, obviously Niall behind the camera, and video properly when we first got it and got into it. And because, as I say, we've been so busy on other stuff, myself, I haven't even spent any time here really. I've just been doing other things that were more important. Not much has had to change structurally. We've done nothing. This kitchen, there was a couple of units here we ripped out. We're putting out this new kitchen in, which, you know, was decent. All the existing laminate floor stayed in, all the existing doors stayed in. All we've done is whitewash all the walls, do a bit of touch up. We've had one of our sparks in to put some new spotlights in to change them, change some of the locations of the switches, put all new fronts on for the switches and sockets, put some better socket locations in for here, obviously the supplies in for the kitchen, and then just bits and bobs. The downstairs bathroom, so obviously this is going to be the living room space again, nothing's happening here. This was a downstairs toilet, and this was used to be a little link through into next door when we shut it off, but down here we decided to put a shower just to make it another shower room, come downstairs toilet, whether it gets used or not, you know, but the option's there for it to be used as a shower, sink, shower. I see Alex had to bodge something there because it's probably been done wrong by someone else who is not here no more. That's who Chris had to me and Chris had to let go the other week on the channel. But Alex has fixed something there now, which I can see a hole. So, as I say, upstairs now has all been whitewashed, done, finished paint. The existing, or the previous owner, had aircon fitted. We've decided to leave it in. All the units behind there, that was all theirs. This used to be like a training room for beauty, like doing aesthetics. You can see the way it was rigged, sort of rigged out. They had like an operating bed in the middle there where they do all the training, like an interactive screen. That's the screen that we've actually took and used, or going to use in our Greenbank Emperor office. But all them units behind are decent, so rather than rip them out, we just decided to keep them. Whoever stays, you can use them for storage. In that cupboard in there, it's just going to be like a wardrobe. This used to be like a toilet as well, a secondary toilet from there. But we decided to make that into like a walk-in closet wardrobe. This being the main bedroom for the people who were here. This with an ensuite for them. Again, we left the existing shower and the way it's done with the backing panels on there and the enclosure. Just put a new toilet and sink in. Tiled the floor because it had laminate inside. Just painted it white. This all had laminate, took it up, I was going to carpet it, just needed a bit better fixing. And then into there. And then in here, again, second room, a little bit smaller, a little bit of an awkward space with this. This is the head height for the stairs below. But it is what it is, you can still get a nice double bed in there. Put your telly on the wall here. Not sure where the cables go, to be fair. Don't know where they go, must go somewhere. But yeah, I know, nice 2-bedroom Muse house is what we're calling it. All we need to do now is say, finish it off, snag it down, fit the carpets, fit the blinds, let Alex do his job and finish off the bathrooms, tile the kitchen splashback, and then that's it. advertise, get the tenants in. Easy. So that's it then for the Emperor update. So as I say, probably the next time you see this now is when it's fully finished. We'll show you when it's all done and wrapped up. But how good was that, seeing what that building was like all them years ago and then now, what it's like now repping our brand, which is decent. So yeah, nice little update over here. Back over to Manny.
So we're back at what I'm going to call new HQ. See what I've done there? So yes, lots of love in the comments for this last week, and I thought it might be good to do a little bit more in depth about what we think our plans might be here. I'm going to get Bernie Wood, T-Burn West to come and measure up so we can get it on paper, and I might, if we get time, sit down and show you guys a couple of the initial thoughts that we've got. I think in last week's episode I kind of made more of a focus on the fact that we're going to have the auto side here, which is going to be a massive part of what we're going to do, but this is also going to serve as our HQ. And what we forgot to show you last week, just because we were so excited, is we've actually got this yard that comes with the unit as well, and it's bigger than it looks. So what we're going to do is, obviously first things first, is beef up security. We're going to have fences all along there and down this side here. We're going to make it mega secure. We're going to have cameras looking at cameras. I want this to be one of the most secure units there is about. What I might also do here as well is have a couple of satellite aggregate bays as well. So not that I want to run this as any kind of aggregate yard, but we get a lot of people wanting to come and collect soil and aggregates, and it's not safe really at the yard. We do, you know, sort of the DIY market, we do let them come in, but it's a bit of a nightmare. So I think what we're going to do is put a couple of bays here, maybe keep 20 tonne of soil, 20 tonne of MOT recycled, so that when DIYers come in, they can come in, we can load them. So we'll need some kind of little loading shovel, but I don't want it to dominate the space here, but this will all be like an enclosed yard. We've also got some space down the side here, so we're gonna forest our way into that and utilise some of that space there. Wow, we're still on the flight path. Everywhere we go, we're on the flight path. So we're gonna utilise every last square inch. But obviously, the main reason for purchasing this yard is inside here, and it's already serving a purpose, because look what we've got. We've got the two preferred joinery vans in here because they are going to be fully wrapped, and they need it. If you look, it's quite funny actually. We've got the old tipper. I think Alex has talked about this on the preferred episodes. It's got a fax number. We're having a laugh with Mike before. He's devastated we've got rid of the fax machine now. We're like, Mike, nobody uses fax anymore. It's 2025. But he said, no, we still order our glass that way. So we've got them onto email now. And I think the company who we got our glass from have also been able to scrap their fax machine. So it's funny actually, because that's the original preferred joinery branding from like the mid-90s. And then this is the effort I did on Canva just when we got it, and we had to do a little bit of a freshen up. So we had this in our fleet every trade, this Luton, and we sold it to preferred, and it's coming really handy. So they're going to be wrapped by Shires starting today. Previously, we had to rent some space to wrap them to get something that could deal with the height of that and where it was waterproof, because we had nowhere like that. So now we've got our own space, but it makes you feel it's big, but it's not as big as you think, because the vehicles do dominate the space. So you remember, the idea is this space here is going to be for Transparts, for a parts centre. So I've just got to get that organised. And then we're going to have a couple of bays for repairing the vans and trucks and cars. But the majority of it is still to serve every trade. And we're going to have materials stored here all the time, because this is going to be our new HQ. TB and I are trying to now do some initial designs for the new HQ, and it's actually proving to be a little bit harder than we anticipated, because we don't want to sacrifice too much workshop space. So what we've got here, if you remember, we've got the initial admin block. So all this is the workshop in the model. That's the room there that we're probably going to leave as is. Jesus, TB, hold it still, lad.
Sorry.
What we're trying to do is extend a mezzanine floor. So we want an office for KTM, here, which will be right there, operations, because the desk space with all the monitors will be there. An office for Danny because he needs to be somewhere quiet because it's chaos with our Tourette's. And then my office there, and then this bit, like a meeting room area there. So we haven't really got a breakout area. Obviously all this will be glazed. From here you'll be able to look down onto the workshop. We're going to introduce another window probably in the corridor there. But it's actually quite hard because it's what's more valuable to us. Workshop space is more valuable per square foot. However, we want to create a nice environment. So it's now, how do we get a breakout area into there? And it's actually quite tight. So do we sacrifice an office, or another option is we extend the mezzanine floor over the workshop a bit more, which still means we've got floor space underneath it.
Yeah.
It's just the build cost of that.
Over this way.
Yeah, can you draw that in? Can you draw me another mess? We want to get it right on paper, and we're very fortunate that we've got TB because we want to make the mistakes here because it's cheaper to mess about with it on paper than it is to actually do it real time in the unit. And I've done that before and wasted money. But what do you think?
So I've just pulled it out there in line with, because there's like a little bit of a block pillar,
Yeah.
so I've used that for a bit of stability, but
Doesn't really matter that because
you don't have to come out that far.
no, we don't. I wouldn't. I'd bring it out. I'd make that the size of what we had the meeting room, which base it on this office here.
Yeah.
And I would do that because when I looked at it before, it won't matter about that pillar because we're going to have to bear onto this masonry here anyway. So we'll have loads. We can basically hang a floor off that. We'll just have to put some kind of steel framework there. It's just more cost. That's the problem. We'll have to mess about with this for a little bit longer and we'll get it right. And maybe in next week's episode, we'll show you the sort of final plans, maybe with a bit of 3D, guys. Have you got that in your locker?
I can do that, yeah.
A little bit of 3D. And we'll see how we get on. And then the exciting bit will actually be building it. It's good. I'm excited. This is actually making me really excited. What we'll do as well, we'll get some ramps drawn in here and see how they're going to fit in here. Because it looks massive when you go down there, but in real time, real life, it's not that big. Yeah, that'd work. So then what we could do, push everything along here, that becomes the meeting room there, create a breakout area there, punch that corridor through there, TB. This becomes a breakout area. Somewhere you can go in, have your lunch, and just get away from all the noise. But this will be good. KTM.
Put that there like that.
KTM needs the smallest office, yeah?
Yeah.
Alright. So hopefully that will all come together. TB will work his magic, and next week we can start doing the work. I've briefed KTM that any gaps in the labour, he's going to try and divert over there. It's not the way I like to work because things take a bit longer when you have a hospital job, as you all know. However, it's kind of the way we've got to work because we've got so much on. We're very lucky that we're super busy at the moment, but what we don't want to do is let customers down for the sake of just sorting ourselves out. So what I've done, if I can get this lease swap over with the bakery next door, then I'm going to try and time it so we've probably got till the end of July and maybe start hard deadline 1st of August into the new unit. When you are the boss, you notice that the mail pile thins down because the guys will open the mail and sort out the bills and stuff like that, but the brown ones always come to me. And that reminded me of a time which I can't remember if I've talked about on this channel, but about 3 years ago when we were really overstretched ourselves, COVID hit, building materials went through the roof, and we honoured prices and we lost thousands. Every single job we were losing money on. We got that close probably to losing the business. Oh, it's not too bad. That's nothing serious. But we got that close to losing the business, and I remember it like it was yesterday because I actually thought it was probably the worst period of my whole life. And I remember getting letters from HMRC and just burying my head in the sand, and our tax bill was going up, so the deductions that we make from the guys, our PAYE bill, you got to pay them monthly, and I was pushing them out to quarterly, and I was paying a bit off and not paying it all. It doesn't go away. It kept mounting up, and it went dead quiet. And I thought, I wonder if they've forgotten about us, which never happens. And then one day, I got a on the door, and it was an enforcement officer from the HMRC. And she came in, and she said, "This is a warrant to seize goods. And by the way, this visit has cost you 10 grand. So 10 grand onto what we already owed him," which was £150,000. I was like, wow. At the time, and you know, I want to share it with you guys because, you know, we can prove that you can get out of a situation like that and you can recover. We did not have anything like that in the bank. If anything, we're at the bottom of our overdraft. It was a tough time. So yeah, she said, basically, she was actually really lovely, the woman, in the end, but she said, I'm really sorry, but you've got to pay that. So the 10 grand gets added on to the original bill. So that was 160 grand, and there was interest accruing every day. And she said, look, we've got to start taking goods away now to the value of as much as we can raise if you don't make a down payment. And I was like, well, what we accept as a down payment? She said 20 grand. I was like, I promise you, I can't give you 20 grand. She was like, well, my hands are tied. She's like, I want to help you because I can see that you're a good company. I've seen you around the area and I can see that you've been trying to pay. You've not just ignored us, but you have buried your head in the sand too much. And if you don't make 20 grand, then that's it. I've got to take things away. And I was like, well, we don't actually own that much. She's like, but we'll find stuff. And we're going to send people in to do an audit. And it was horrendous. And I remember just thinking, right, I've got to find 20 grand. I said to her, can you just give me a week? Give me a week and I'll promise I'll find 20 grand and I'll come back to you with a payment plan that I know we can stick to, that also will hopefully get the debt down in a sensible amount of time. Well, she said, look, we can't accept anything less than 18 months. So you've got to pay over 18 months. I will give you 7 days, but if in 7 days you haven't paid 20k, then the auctioneer people come in, take stuff away. So I was like, right. Anyway, long story short, went away, found 20k, absolutely scrambled it together. We sold some stuff, all sorts. It was a tough time. And then I set up a payment plan, divided the 150, actually divided it over 12 months because I found a way of doing it, and paid it back, stuck to it. And every month when that payment came out, it absolutely wiped us out. I remember it, but we never missed one payment. And I remember I saw her, bumped into her on the industrial estate. She was going to see someone else. And she said, how are you doing with your thing? I said, paid it. She's like, oh, let me have a look. She went, you have? She goes, to be honest with you, I had every faith in you. I knew you would. I said, I see a lot of blags in my job, but I knew that your business meant so much to you and you built a good business that I had a faith that you'd do it. And she said, I hated adding that 10 grand, but my hands were tied. I think the reason I'm trying to say this, and I don't know why that brown envelope made me think about it, is basically, if you are in a situation where you think the world is going to fall apart and you can't afford to pay your tax bills or whatever, make a quick assessment. I've done a video on this at Christmas. You should watch it. I'll try and link it. Make a quick assessment. Is your business worth saving? If it is, then find a way to do it. Don't bury your head in the sand. Speak to these people. They are human beings. We're at the other side of it now. And I'm not saying that'll never happen again, but the best go through tough times. Trust me, we know other YouTubers, you know what I'm talking about. The best go through it. Don't bury your head in the sand. Speak to these people. Offer to give them as much as you can day one, then work out a sensible payment plan that you know you can stick to. Don't kid yourself because it'll only end up causing you more pain. Find out what you can afford to pay and stick to it. Anyway, moral of the story. So that is pretty much it for this episode. I do not know what this episode will be like. I hope you enjoy it. I suppose it's a little bit raw, a little bit more behind the scenes, which is actually what I set out for these episodes to be. They ended up coming into this big cinematic thing. It just grew legs, really. But it's a bit raw. It's a bit real. I hope it's okay. We are so close to 22,000 subs, guys. So if you're not subscribed, I don't like begging, but please just click subscribe. Also, if you've liked what you've seen, click like and comment. If there's anything you want to talk about and discuss, try and keep it positive because my kids and KTM's dad watch the episode, so we need to keep it positive, yeah? Be nice, especially you, Dobson. We know who you are. So, yeah, have a great, long bank holiday weekend. Nightmare, back on Tuesday with double trouble. It's always the way, another short week. But, yeah, I promise we'll get a bit more action next week. Let me know what you think, guys. Have a great weekend.
Sausage on the brain.
I can cut that out.